I'll just give you a quick injury update. We already covered the guys that are out for the spring. Jason Stewart didn't practice today. He had a little thigh contusion, and Capella strained his calf a little bit. Pupu got his ham a little bit, and other than that, you know, just a couple of cramps and things like that, but nothing significant. So. Is that what Joe? Yeah, he tweaked his hammy. We'll see how it is. You know, you got to give that thing a little bit of time, and we'll see where he's at. So.
It's been a bit of a battle for the quarterback position. What do you want in your starting quarterback?
Well, the battle's just begun, really. I mean, this is only our second practice. So, but what we're looking for is a guy that just reaches out and snatches it. You know, that reveals himself as the leader, as the guy that can make plays for us, win games for us, make good decisions for us, throw accurately, and be a leader of this football team. Someone that gives us consistency at that position.
And defensively, you guys gave up 31 points a game last year. What do you
we guys is not us guys. We guys is I didn't give up any points last year because I wasn't coaching. So we don't talk about the past.
Looked like Thick Pen was running at running back today. Is that the kind of thing where you want him to switch in between the F and the running back to kind of give him more looks at various things?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the objective of spring, well, there's a number of objectives, but one of them is to find out, you know, who your playmakers are and where they're best making plays from, what positions they execute best from. And so I think as we go through spring, you'll see some of that. You know, Trey Hale moved this afternoon, about an hour before practice, from nose guard to offensive guard. And we threw him in there, you know, and I think it'll be, you know, I don't want to say a constant experiment, but, you know, part of the objective of spring is to find out who plays best in what position. So you're going to see some of that, you know. I'll tell you what, I have trouble keeping track of it sometimes.
Jim, Darius Bell kind of looked pretty good as a receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Is he surprising you?
Well, I can't say I can't say that anybody's surprising me right now because it's just really my first exposure to these guys. I like what I see in Darius at that position, you know.
From quarterback to receiver.
But you know what? He told me that he played some slot in high school, so it's not unfamiliar to him. But I will say this, you know, whether he's surprising me or not, I'm pleased with what I see. He flashes, he makes plays. You know, he's compact, he's got a low center of gravity, he can move laterally quick, he seems to have some burst and explosion up the field. So I think that it kind of looks like he's at home. He certainly doesn't look like a fish out of water.
What do you think of the tempo today?
It was better. We finished today's practice about 8 or 9 minutes faster than we did Tuesday's, and it was the exact same practice. So it's better. It is not yet what we want. We're going to try to push it every day, but it was better.
What about the feistiness of guys? You like what you're seeing from them?
I don't mind feistiness, and as I said on Tuesday, you know, there's going to be a scuffle, a dust-up, as I called it on Tuesday here and again, but we discourage fighting. You know, to me, fighting is a sign of being immature and being undisciplined. It's going to happen on occasion in practice because you're beating on the same guy over and over again, but we have to do the best job we possibly can of minimizing that, because that ends up hurting you if it happens in a game, and that will not be part of our program. So.
Did you think that was more of a dust-up or a fight today?
That was a little bit more towards a scrap. I'm not going to call it a fight. It was we're gonna have to create a scale here. That was a little bit more of a scrap, and that's more than we want. What I liked, though, is rather than developing into a melee, guys went and pulled them apart. Okay. The lesson to be learned there is that, and I don't know if you saw me, but I'm telling the offense, run a play, run a play, run a play, because Andrew Abbott, now he doesn't have his helmet on. So he's not ready. All right, so if we can catch people off guard like that, then that's what we want to do. And in the same token, we have to learn how to control our emotions so we don't get ourselves in a situation where we're behind in a down. Andrew got himself behind in that down, you know, and so those are great lessons, great lessons.
Xavier Sufilo, 2 days in, how are you feeling about him?
Well, you know what, I think he looks good. I think we kind of figured that he might be a little bit rusty. He figured he might be a little bit rusty. Once again, I haven't ever seen him play before. You know, I've seen him play twice now in practice. But just like with Darius Bell, I like what I see. I like what I see.
How is spring practice at the college level different than OTAs in the pros?
Well, they're about an hour and a half longer. You know, OTAs you get about an hour. Today we were out here for 2 hours and 18 minutes, so about an hour and 18 minutes longer. Much more physical. There's a lot of restrictions in OTAs. You can't play bump and run. You really can't do 9-on-7. There can't be any contact. You can't do pass rush. You can't do things like that. So these are more like a typical training camp practice would be in the NFL. So it's really a lot different. You have much more, you know, you have almost double the bodies here too. So
Can you talk about that physicality that you saw during practice?
Well, we don't have pads on yet. You know, some guys can be, you know, we call them underwear All-Americans. You know, they look great until the pads come on, and then all of a sudden they aren't the same guy. So, you know, we're gonna go into a stretch here now for about 3.5, 4 weeks where we're in pads every time, and then we'll see. You know, then we'll see.
It seems like you're spending a lot of time with the safeties. Are you worried at all about the depth there?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's a concern. You know, I don't see a whole lot of bodies there. Here's the thing that's different for me that, you know, that I have to adjust to is I'm not used to a lot of depth. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to coaching 20 games with 53 players. Now I'm getting the opportunity to coach 12, hopefully 14 games with 115 players. So, you know, it's taken an adjustment in my, you know, the way I perceive things. But yeah, I'm a little concerned with depth, you know.
And it looked like you slid Borosio over to safety.
We did. Yeah, we did that after the first practice. You know, he's a good athlete. He's smart. He's quick. Obviously a little bit undersized, you know, but he's versatile. You know, what you'd like to have in your secondary is you'd like to have a group of guys that can kind of play nickel, play safety, play corner. And you'd like to have a group of guys that, man, they're pure corners, and we have that, and some guys that are pure safeties. But if you can have a group that's got some versatility, that just really helps you, especially when you get into the season and you do have depth problems.
Is that something you're doing with Abbott? Kind of, are you flipping him down to the nickel when you're in?
He goes down and plays nickel, yeah, and Stan comes in and plays safety. And then we've been working Marcus Rios in there. And then when you know, we get some of these other young guys in, we'll work them in there as well. But you'd like to create some position versatility in the secondary. That's a good thing.
Dalton, you're talking about where you're trying to play both ways. Is that something that you see as a possibility?
I'm not thinking that way right now. You know, I think that what he needs to do is focus on the position that he's playing right now, which is running back. And he looked better today than he looked on Tuesday. And he'll look better Saturday, hopefully, when the pads come on, than he looked today. But, you know, to me, that's a stretch right now. We'll see when we get, you know, through the summer camp where he is, if he can handle it. I think mentally is the main thing. Can he handle the load mentally? How does he divide his time in meetings and practice? You know, those are all challenges that you face when you try to go both ways. But once again, the objective is to get your playmakers on the field. You know, so I'm not adverse to having maybe a third down specialist that plays both ways, you know, but it's got to, you don't just do it to do it, you know, it's got to make sense.
You think Willis has what it takes to play nose tackle full time?
Well, you're asking me some tough ones after 2 days of knowing these guys. Goodness sakes. I'm not dogmatic enough to say that yet. I don't know. I mean, we haven't had the, you know, ask me that in 2 weeks and I'll give you a better answer. Okay, yeah. Come on, man. Let me breathe here. Let me evaluate them.
Did you have an update on Joe? I'm sorry if I missed it.
Joe, yeah, he tweaked his hamstring. I don't know the severity yet, and we probably won't know until, you know, tomorrow. Sometimes it looks more significant than it is, and sometimes it, you know, doesn't look real significant and ends up being significant. So I'm sure they'll evaluate it here after practice, and he'll get treatment. He'll come in the morning. We'll see how he feels.
He's had some hamstring issues before.
Has he?
Yeah, just sort of those kind of stretch muscle issues.
Mm-hmm.
Are you a yoga guy? Like, are you someone who says, let's get a guy like that into yoga? And all that?
We do that. I mean, you know, Coach Alosi is very progressive in terms of, you know, the way he approaches our strength and conditioning program. You know, there's elements of yoga, there's massage, there's, you know, I'm Pilates. I mean, whatever's going to help our athlete be more prepared to go on the field on game day and perform at his peak, then that's what we're going to do. But you know, some guys just have a propensity to pull. You know, sometimes leaner guys, and they get out here and, you know, we're working at a pretty good pace, and they're running a lot, and you know, he'll get through it though. He'll be all right.
And Ricky, it looked like he had a little back before.
You know what? I tell you what, Ricky's a tough kid. Ricky's a tough kid. Ricky was about to take it in because his back was bothering him, and Ricky just decided in his mind that wasn't going to happen, and he stayed out and he practiced, and I really respect that, you know. And I don't want him to ever do anything that's going to, you know, hamper his ability to, you know, practice the rest of spring. But he showed me some toughness there, you know, and he's done that through the course of the winter. I've been impressed with him. Thanks, everybody.